you're listening to Popcorn Podcast with Lee and Tim.
Woohoo! We're back for another episode. This one, I feel, Lee, do you agree? Probably one of the most jam-packed
Episodes.
I've got like my hands up in the air. I don't know why. There's a camera looking at us somewhere. I'm trying to be jazz hands. But yeah, we have our review of Booksmart, which we'll delve into.
Bloody loved that film.
Fantastic.
It was so funny.
And then we've got the usual, what our big new releases this week were movie news and trailers.
Yep.
And what's out this week. Lee, Booksmart.
So as I said, absolutely hilarious. I really bloody loved this film, but I'm closer to the target demographic than you are probably. So I'm curious to see what you took from it.
Why do you say that? What's the difference?
I feel like it's female empowerment.
Definitely focus on female empowerment.
Female friendship.
Female friendship. It was really great and refreshing. I mean, it was another coming of age movie, which Hollywood make all the time. But what I really enjoyed about Booksmart was that it played to that genre so differently.
Yeah, it was more intelligent, I thought.
Really intelligent, but not alienating. Like you didn't feel like you didn't fit in because of because our main characters were highly intelligent young women and they really empowered each other, like you said.
Such a great example of female friendship. So good. Yeah.
And just really fun and quirky AF. This movie went in directions that I did not expect. One particular scene, which I think you're looking at me trying to read my mind.
Yeah.
When they're on drugs.
Yeah.
And they think they're dolls.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the most left of center thing that you did not expect to happen.
Yeah. And I laughed so hard, I cried.
And it went on, but I wanted the rest of the movie to be a stop motion animation of them in dolls. It was so entertaining.
Yeah.
They get spiked. This character Gigi, who we'll talk about later, spiked some strawberries with some hallucinogenic stuff and they think they're dolls. And the film turns into this stop motion animation where they're realizing what they look like, you look like, and they're loving their new Barbie bodies and stuff. It's just really trippy and funny.
Yeah, really good.
And then how that scene ends, they pay it off with the bit just comes to a perfect end. Yeah. Where they're walking out of the house. Like dolls, but it's them in real life. I was sad when that scene ended, but the movie did not slow down in pace from there. No. It just kept delivering all the good moments.
It was like a more intelligent, cleverer Superbad.
Yeah.
Without that's a real toilet humour.
Right. I mean, was this toilet humour? I mean, someone got vomited on.
There was some masturbation humour.
Yeah, but actually that arc of masturbation kept delivering right to the end. Yeah. With the panda. Yeah.
Can't reveal too much.
Oh shit, I forgot we don't do spoilers here. But
well, it's not really a spoiler.
Not really a spoiler. Anyway, watch out for the panda. Yeah. In this movie. Look, I know I'm jumping to the end, but to go and see this movie, it's so great.
Funny.
Anyway, we'll keep talking about it. Yeah. That's a bit premature.
So the main stars were, the characters were Molly and Amy, played by Beanie, Feldstein and Kaitlyn who have both they're quite new actresses, but they both had a mix of comedy roles and serious roles. Yeah. And they had such great chemistry.
And perfect chemistry.
I loved them as best friends.
Yeah.
It was so good.
And they played with the script so well. And you believe that they were friends. I always think about, and this might come out of, director's commentary or, interviews and whatever. But when you're an actor and you have to have a believable, really close relationship, they tend to hang out beforehand and do all these things. I would be gobsmacked if they didn't do that, if they went on set and had this great chemistry. But I mean, you just never know. Yeah. They were just you believe that they were best mates. Yeah.
The film was directed by Olivia Wilde, who's an actress, has been in a lot of things. And obviously, this is her first feature. Yeah. I think she smashed it out of the park.
Absolutely smashed it.
Such a great job.
You would not think it was a first-time director.
No, lots of interesting choices like the stop-motion animation. Yeah. There was one thing I want to talk about where inevitably the characters have a big fight. They have a big falling out because you can't have this great, amazing relationship without having some kind of falling out. And there was a big fight at the party where I think because we didn't get a lot of their backstories as individuals, I think the fight probably wouldn't have been felt enough. But what Olivia Wilde chose to do was take the sound off them fighting. So it went silent and you just see them mouthing things at each other and yelling at each other and these great emotions on their face and this hurt and the things, you can guess the things they were saying to each other. So they didn't hit you over the head with what they were saying. And I think that gave it more of an impact. It was a really interesting choice that made you feel it more.
Absolutely. Although there was a really unique style that Olivia Wilde chose because it packed a punch. And you ultimately didn't know the one thing that they said to each other that stopped the fight and made them actually silent and then walk away from each other. And that had a big impact. Another thing that made that scene right, and maybe I blinked and missed, but help me here. Did she choose to capture that whole moment in one shot from when Amy got out of the pool? That was one shot.
Continuous shot when
through the house to the fight. The sound went down, they walked away. That was a few minutes.
Yeah, it was good. It was well done.
And that's why you don't think that it's a first-time director to make those ballsy shots, because you need to be able to communicate to all the departments what you're trying to achieve here, from technical ability with the camera moving, but then also directing the actors and getting them from a place where they're literally getting out of a pool and she would have been cold, blah, whatever. And then having that emotional moment. I want to know how many times they did that take. It would have been intense.
It would have been interesting, And as I said, basically the movie is just a snapshot of the end of high school. One night where these two very intelligent, book-smart girls haven't really felt like they've let loose in high school, so they decide to have one night where they let loose. And we don't get to see a lot of them as individuals, as I said. You get a little bit of a glimpse into a couple of their home lives, like where they live and their parents very briefly, played by Lisa Kudrow and Will Forte.
So good.
Hilarious.
Scene stealers.
But I don't think we needed it. I don't think we needed that backstory. I think it was fine as a snapshot.
I love when movies own the fact that we are going to cover a 24-hour period. And it reminded me, these films are not dissimilar in some ways, but Game Night, where it just followed that one night. And it is really, this Booksmart is this crazy series of events, of unfortunate events, of funny events, etc., that happens over the course of one night. And there's a lot of crazy things where it's you've got to suspend belief because the character of Gigi, which we brought up earlier, just keeps popping up at all these house parties that they're trying to get to. And it's you know what? This is crazy. This movie is crazy, but it is also real. It has real elements to it as well. But sometimes you just got to shift the possibilities of things actually happening.
And I think from a director's point of view, it's a harder job to do, to get people to be invested in this film and in these characters when you don't have that backstory and you don't have all that time to build up to the climax or whatever. You've got just this one night.
Because you've got to believe those things can legitimately happen emotionally in the course of one night.
You've got to know these characters instantly. And I think Olivia Wilde did a great job with that.
She really did.
Job. Okay, so let's talk about Gigi.
Okay, Gigi. I only brought it up 5 times.
This absolute batshit crazy character who just keeps popping up, played by Billie Lourd, who's Carrie Fisher's daughter.
And I didn't know until literally 10 minutes ago. Before we started recording, I was like, oh, it's Carrie Fisher's daughter.
She's this crazy, drugged up, I don't know, mentally unstable.
All of the above.
Does she go to their high school? I don't even know if she went to their high school. She just kind of is.
No, I don't think she did. Or she went to her own high school in her own mind.
I don't know, She just keeps appearing at all these parties and she randomly has all these insights about them and is just nuts. She's nuts. But hilarious.
She caps the crazy. Everything else, nothing is really as crazy as Gigi. So that kind of sets that level and everything kind of molds in underneath her. So it's kind of that the hills and valleys of the crazy, and Gigi is definitely at the peak of all those 4 or 5 moments that she features in the film. And
did you have any criticism?
I did have a criticism, and it's not maybe mine from my own insight that I took away. I didn't really know a lot about this movie going in, and some movies I prefer to do that, whereas others I want to know everything about. This one I felt like I needed to go in with as fresh eyes as possible. It premiered at the Sydney Film Festival a couple of weeks ago. All the rest of it, I didn't get to see it then, so I avoided the reviews. But there was one thing that a friend had said, that the gay characters in it are really stereotypical. But I wasn't too bothered by their representation, because this movie, I guess, was all high school coming of age movies have a heightened stereotype with some of their characters. This one, I think, played the balance really well. So I wasn't too bothered.
Well, I think at the beginning, as far as the heterosexual characters anyway, it sought to sort of destroy those preconceptions by saying that, some of the students who were idiots and let loose and clowns and didn't really care about school actually got into Yale and Harvard, and that's what sort of set everything in motion.
And that was something Molly couldn't handle. There's this great scene in the bathroom where, you know, she's got this arrogance about her and her intelligence. And then realizing that these, who she thinks are people who don't care about academia and the rest of their lives, have actually done really well for themselves, but also had a bit of fun on the side, which therein lies the premise of this movie, which I don't think we've actually mentioned, is that Molly and Amy then realised that we've only got one more night left of high school for us to say that we both partied and did well in school, because they've noticed that everyone around them has done that, and they're kind of sitting ducks going, well, we kind of fucked up here. Let's, you know, have some fun. And so that's the story that we follow.
One little criticism that I had was to the supporting characters, and a little bit stereotypical. There was a particular character called Triple A, who's known as the, I don't know, high school slut, if you will, who they sort of set that up in the beginning, and that they make a couple of comments about her giving roadside assistance to the guys in the class, and that's how she gets the nickname Triple A. But then they don't really revisit that. Later on in the movie, she comes back and she sort of says, oh, it actually really hurts my feelings. I don't mind that the boys say that about me, but I don't like that the girls say that about me. And for a movie that is really all about subverting expectations and bolstering female friendship and supporting other women, it felt like it was just way too small and way too rushed over for me.
Yeah, I think it was just a moment of convenience in the story that that conversation could happen.
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like that as important as it was to have that dialogue between the characters, it did feel like they were, excuse me, in the screenwriter was like, oh shit, we need to revisit this. Where can we fit it into the story?
Yeah, because that's a big part of the theme of the movie. And it was only a token couple of minutes towards the end where they addressed, oh, actually, you know, we're preaching about equality, but you're also sort of putting down other people in the class that you don't think are worthy of your time or effort, or you know. So I would have liked to have seen more of that.
One thing, can I talk about the speech at the end, or is that
the graduation speech?
The graduation speech.
Yeah.
Just as a theme, I liked that it didn't go on for too long. I mean, I love Mean Girls, but when she breaks the tiara and throws it into the crowd, which is great cinema, like it's iconic for 15 years ago. I feel like this was dealt with really well, because it could have got a bit too much, and she didn't go on, and it was just a nice way of wrapping up the themes of the movie, I suppose. I don't know, when I was like, oh God, they've got to have that valedictorian speech, and I thought, is this going to be really
heavy-handed?
Just too much, but it wasn't, and I was like pleasantly surprised.
And talking more about the supporting characters, the adults in the film. Again, like when they make their arrival to the graduation speech, they kind of make it in very dramatic fashion. I just kept thinking, why are the teachers not saying anything?
I feel like, no, but teachers in coming of age high school comedies, they don't give a shit.
No,
like they're just so relaxed. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a time trope, I think. But
why is that though?
I don't know. Maybe because they don't want them to take in focus. But Jason Sudeikis was the principal, who is Olivia Wilde's husband in real life, and he did a great job. But he was just, he just really didn't care.
Didn't.
And then we had this other teacher who wanted to be this young teacher who was the favourite teacher, who wanted to be the cool teacher who helps them out throughout the film. I had an issue with her as well, because I just thought, what is the point of her beyond coming to help the students? She ended up at a party hooking up with a student.
I felt
that was just unnecessary. Yeah.
Because she was a cool teacher, I think, until that point.
And I kind of went, is he 18?
Well, he was 20.
Was he?
Yeah, because she asked him.
Oh, did she? I missed that. I missed that.
Yeah.
God.
And he says yes or something. Yeah. So it's fine, because he repeated 7th grade twice. So
that's right.
They kind of set up the fact that he was old, and then for an audience who did not realize the teacher's going to sleep with a 17-year-old.
Okay, I did miss that then. Yeah. But they squeezed that in, obviously. But it still didn't fit right with me. I thought it was a bit.
If they were going to go down that road, I think we should have seen more of it. And we didn't, and so it was just kind of glazed over.
A few things were thrown in for the sake of it.
I think that could have. I think that could have ended up on the cutting room floor. But
overall, though, we loved it.
Oh, absolutely!
How many popcorn?
Fantastic! Oh shit!
Have you not put?
No, I haven't. I had one job. Can you go first?
I was bouncing between 4 and 4.5, because I really think it's really well written. I'm going to go 4.5. I am going to go 4.5 because it's really well written. There were some moments where it fell down a little bit, but overall it was just, I just didn't care because it was hilarious. It made me feel good. It was such a great story, such great directing, such great performances. I just loved it.
I think this movie's going to become a cult classic.
Yeah.
Is that too obnoxious to say? I don't know. I just get vibes from it. And it will find a new audience slowly over the years because I don't think it made too much noise initially.
No.
It's very well received, but...
The themes are so universal.
Yeah. I was just in that small 10 seconds thinking between 3.5 to 4 popcorn kernels. I'm going to land on 4.
Yeah, we'll go on Booksmart.
Yeah. It's definitely deserving of that.
Yeah. Other big new releases this week that came out along with Booksmart were Stuber. Did you hear that eye roll? Did you hear that eye roll, listeners?
It was an audible eye roll.
An Uber driver gets dragged into the chase for a terrorist with Dave Bautista. How do you say this? Bautista?
Dave Bautista.
As the grizzled detective and Kumail Nanjiani as Stu, the mild-mannered Uber driver.
Yeah.
It is what it sounds like.
It is exactly what it sounds like. Another one that's out this week is Hail Satan.
This is really interesting.
Do you want to talk about that one?
I don't know too much about it. I haven't seen it, but it's a documentary tracing the fast rise of the Satanic Temple, which is a religious movement in America. They're fairly new. They're only 6 years old, but it's one of the fastest rising religions ever or something. And this is like a tongue-in-cheek look at them, but also reframing how we see Christianity, I think. So it's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek jab at Christianity rather than being about this sort of cult-like religion.
I just love these sorts of documentaries and stories.
It really makes you think.
Yeah, I'm just gobsmacked that this is a real thing. Crawl is another big release. It follows a woman who's trapped in a flooded house after a hurricane, and she has to save her father and herself from killer alligators.
Who have gotten into the house but somehow can't get out and are going for her, attacking her.
I'm all for these monster movies. So, well, is it a monster movie or like it's a monster thriller or something like that?
It depends if the alligators have had any sort of radioactive interference.
That could be the plot twist.
Maybe.
Have we just figured it out?
No.
So they're the 3 big releases this week.
Besides Booksmart. Let's kick off movie news. A few things to list here. Yeah.
Vanessa Kirby is tipped to play Selena Kyle, aka Catwoman, another one, in Matt Reeves' The Batman. So
I like this choice.
Yeah, I do too. You may have, you will soon see Vanessa Kirby in Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. She plays Jason Statham's sister in Hobbs and Shaw.
She was also in Mission Impossible. She was also Princess Margaret in The Crown. She's doing really well.
And kind of has quite a range in her acting ability. So, I mean, how do you feel about them? The Catwoman's going to be in the new iteration of Batman.
I like it in theory. I'm still not loving Rob Pattinson as Batman.
No, I'm kind of waiting for that to be, scheduling conflict. He can't play Batman. Don't want to be quick to judge. I want to really wait to see how he brings that character to life, and I'm on board. But it does still feel weird. I just would like to see them tackle some different Batman villains. I love Catwoman, don't get me wrong. Batman Returns, I've literally got a poster in my apartment.
He does. I can imagine.
It's my favourite Batman movie. Michelle Pfeiffer is the perfect Catwoman in my opinion. Selena Kyle. I'm all for bringing that Catwoman, but I'm just also thinking I want something new, want something different. They'll need to put a twist on this character, kind of like they did with Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight Rises. I want to see something like that again. I don't know how to pronounce this actress's name.
Awkwafina,
I
think.
So there's been a lot of...
That felt very random that we just read Awkwafina.
Awkwafina.
It's our safe word.
Awkwafina is our safe word.
So she's going to be in The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, there's lots of news about The Little Mermaid. So, Awkwafina Jacob Tremblay, who you may recall from Room with Brie Larson a few years ago, they are cast as Scubble and Flounder, respectively, in, you guessed it, Rob Marshall is directing another Disney film, the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid. What are your thoughts on their casting?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good casting. I like that Rob Marshall's directing. I have faith in his direction.
I don't.
No? I
have just had bad experiences with the latest movies that he's directed. So on Stranger Tides, which was Pirates of the Caribbean a few years ago, 2011. But then more recently, he tackled Mary Poppins Returns.
quite into it.
Don't you say Mary Poppins? Mary Poppins. No, it always sounds like I'm saying Mary.
I heard Mary Poppins.
Anyway, move on. And I really didn't like Mary Poppins Returns. This is before we started off the podcast. But, I had some thoughts. But anyway, so I'm just like, But who knows? He's a very visual director. Like, Mary Poppins Returns looked incredible. And Josh and I, my husband, we actually watched The Little Mermaid last week. And visually, like, this is on a scale, this movie is going to be huge. It's going to be expensive. If they pull off some of the stuff that's in the animation, we're in for a ride. I forgot how big this movie is. All the set pieces, the action, the kind of the scale, the size. Yeah, so I kind of got more excited, But the biggest news in Ariel, do you want to talk about that? Who's actually been cast as Ariel?
Halle Bailey has been cast as Ariel in The Little Mermaid, which is great. I was happy with it. I don't really know much about her. She's
in a duo with it.
Yeah, she's got great singing voice.
Kind of need that with Ariel.
And that was one of the biggest things. She's African American.
Yeah.
Which is rubbing people up the wrong way, but
why?
It's a bloody animation. She's from Jamaica, isn't Ariel from the Caribbean or something?
I think the mythology of Little Mermaid is from like Denmark. But I don't know if she's originally, but I don't know where the original story is set.
In the cartoon version, I'm pretty sure she's.
But like this is fine. I'm really excited that this is happening, and it's not like kudos to Disney because it's just a casting decision that is different.
They casted the best person.
They casted the best person, and it's going to be great.
What I'm interested to see is who's going to be playing King Triton.
Who do you think? Idris Elba? He seems to come up in everything.
That seems to come up in everything, Idris Elba. Yeah, I don't know. But and then Ursula obviously is the big unknown still, which they thought Melissa McCarthy.
That makes, of all the casting, that's the one that concerns me.
Yeah, okay.
Because Ursula is like evil, right? And I feel like I don't know whether Melissa McCarthy can put in her little comedic jabs here and there. I don't think it'll work. But, however, she's a fantastic actress. I love everything that she's in, basically. So
I'd love Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah would be amazing. I've heard people say Titus Burgess.
Oh, yeah, you said.
But I think that might be a bit too comical.
Maybe.
Like that goes in the Melissa McCarthy vein of being a bit too comedic. We need him to be a bit more evil.
I think so. I mean, she's really rewatching The Little Mermaid. Like, Ursula is really cheeky as well. In that, like, anyway, she's got a really big booty. So, which I was really shocked about. Since when did Ursula have like this massive badonkadonk?
Well, she has so many legs.
And that was like, I was like, oh, that's weird. Anyway, moving on from Ariel. This is quite exciting. Baz Luhrmann, those who don't know, is making a Elvis Presley biopic. And there's a few big names thrown out in the mix who have actually screen tested for the role. Or, Harry Styles of One Direction, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, who you may recall from Quicksilver in the Avengers Age of Ultron, among other films. Miles Teller from Whiplash fame. Oh, he's a brilliant actor. Austin Butler, he's a Disney star. He's very handsome. I'm not really sure he can pull off Elvis, but I think he can sing. And Ansel Elgort.
I'm actually quite excited about Ansel Elgort.
I need to pipe up there.
I think he could do a great job. And he also is very musical.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah, he can move.
And he will be going from the lead in West Side Story to playing Elvis Presley. I think that'd be quite big additions to his filmography. Of all the names listed here, who would you be most excited about seeing cast as Elvis?
Well, Ansel, as I said, but I wouldn't mind Miles Teller as well. I think he'd do a good job.
Have we heard him sing before?
No, don't know. No.
I'd have to do some digging. I feel like he'd be able to do it.
Who would you pick?
I have a feeling that Aaron Taylor-Johnson would surprise us all and be really good. I don't want to see Harry Styles.
No,
just no. But yeah, either maybe Aaron Taylor-Johnson or Ansel. More Fast and Furious news for Fast and Furious 9. We have the return of Helen Mirren and Charlize Theron. And production started. They've started filming. Yeah. Random. I didn't realize they'd started.
Samuel L. Jackson has been cast as Chris Rock's father in Saw, the reboot, which nobody wanted and we're all getting. It's got into production. Rock plays a detective in the series.
Really interesting. I don't really know what to expect here.
It's very low on my radar, to be honest.
Really low. But I mean, is it going to be like the gore porn like the other Saw movies tend to be. I don't know. I'm interested to see what angle.
So Todd Phillips also says that his Joker film doesn't follow any comic book story arc, which is coming, this movie coming in October, on October 3. It's simply going to be the story of how a man could end up like the Joker, and I'm really fascinated by this. I think it's going to be really good.
He's come out and said that, you know, this will make fans mad. Ballsy statement. I'm not concerned.
No.
Because they're just taking the IP of the Joker and putting a fresh spin on it, which goes back to my point about I want them to do something like that with Catwoman. You know, maybe go left of center, maybe
make it different.
Make it different.
Instead of remake the movie that we've seen a million times.
There are a lot of questions around this Joker film, and I just feel like we're not going to get any until we get the movie in October.
Red Notice has been picked up by Netflix.
Really interesting. So this was a big bidding war last year where every big Hollywood studio wanted this script called Red Notice, and Dwayne Johnson was attached to it, and he made his biggest paycheck, $22 million up front. And Universal picked up the rights, and it was a $125 million movie. And then they released this news this week that Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot are in the film, but now Netflix are going to distribute it, which is really interesting. I mean, what changed? What happened there? With Universal spent a fortune, and it was this huge, that one of the most sought after scripts in Hollywood. You know, that all comes out every year, like one of the biggest scripts, and
it's a great coup for Netflix, but it's also going to fuel the fire between, you know, an argument for cinema, going to the cinema, and Netflix, the war that's sort of ongoing with filmmakers at the moment and these services.
This movie is going to be grand in scale, and I think it's something that we need to see in cinemas. And I'm really shocked that Dwayne, and I assume he's a producer on this as well, and would have been part of this decision for Netflix to pick it up. Like, why? Anyway, really interesting. All the dealings of movie world.
A little closer to home, The Invisible Man has begun production in Sydney, or it's about to begin production this month.
I thought this was all canned because there was going to be this dark, what was it called? Dark universe.
Well, it is. They're not really adhering to that dark universe thing anymore. So I think they're just still making these movies, but they're not really tying them into this one universe like they were to take on Marvel. I think they've kind of let that idea go a little bit, so it's not as strictly.
It may not be known to our listeners here, but this was a blimp in the radar. You may have missed it, where Universal were kicking off this dark universe franchise, like you said, Lee. And it was starting with The Mummy, which was Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe, who was playing Jekyll and Hyde. And it was meant to then branch off. And they had this big cast photo of all these big actors, Johnny Depp as Invisible Man. And, and it was like, these are all the movies coming out. Then The Mummy didn't do so well, critically, commercially. And then they just pulled the plug on it all.
Yeah. And they're still going to make these movies.
Yeah, which I didn't realize.
We're still going to get Frankenstein, I think, and we're still getting The Invisible Man, obviously, which starts production this month. So as you said, Johnny Depp was attached to that. He's not anymore. So now Oliver Jackson Cohen has been cast as the lead, and he was in Haunting on House Hill.
Okay.
He's a fairly new face. But Lee Whannell of Saw fame,
Australian.
I don't know how to pronounce that, is directing.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Him behind the chair on this movie.
It's quite a dark film. I think he's got the right approach for it.
Yeah. I think so too.
So San Diego Comic-Con is happening next week.
It's one of my favourite times of the year.
Yeah, I love it because so many spoilers drop, so much casting news, so much film snippets get released.
Yeah.
But this year it's actually being more focused towards television. So the famous Hall H is really only going to get the Marvel mothership arriving rather than, so Universal aren't doing anything, no Star Wars or Sony panels either.
No DC.
No DC. Sorry, that's Wonder Woman DC.
Going to be a few tumbleweeds. I mean, Marvel will need to make a lot of noise, but they've got a clean slate. There's no one else in their peripheral vision.
Yeah.
They have a lot of noise to make, though.
Yes, because we don't know anything about Phase 4, and I've got a feeling that we're going to get a lot of information about Phase 4. A lot of exciting stuff. At the moment, the top two movies that will be coming next are the Black Widow film, starring Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh.
And I read this week that is going to be set in between Civil War and Infinity War.
So it's going to be set after Black Widow has defected. And there's more than one Black Widow, so I think it might be setting up Black Widow for future iteration.
Even though it's kind of, we're going back in time between two different movies. Interesting.
Yeah.
I just hope that it's not going to be one of those movies where it should have been part of the release schedule in the timeline anyway. Because there should have been a Black Widow movie as part of the first three phases. Like, that much is clear. Hopefully they're putting a really interesting spin and setting it up for the future, and it's not just put in there as fan service. It actually will serve a purpose. Whether or not it's Scarlett Johansson continuing, which is interesting. We all know how her story played out in the end. So do you reckon we're going to get any indication?
It could go any way. I'm very excited to see what they reveal, what Kevin Feige reveals in Hall H.
The Eternals is another movie. Angelina Jolie as cast Richard Madden. We know bugger all about this film, other than it's been made.
No, it's got a stellar cast.
When is it? When is Comic-Con?
Comic-Con is next week, I said, yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see Marvel have the stage and what they're going to reveal about Phase 4. Be very exciting.
We will certainly uncover it all on our next podcast.
Oh yes, we will discuss it. So there was a lot of new trailers out this week.
Heaps.
One that really excited me was Knives Out.
Yes.
Which has an incredible cast. Everyone under the sun is in this. Chris Evans, Toni Collette, Daniel Craig, Christopher Plummer. I could just go on and on and on.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Amazing cast.
Yep.
And we're being served with another whodunit movie, which I love those whodunit movies. I think this one's going to be really quirky and
fun.
And fun.
And it's really interesting to see Chris Evans in a completely different character to Captain America. He looks like a bit of a douchebag and it looks really funny.
It's good that this movie has fallen in line with him being serious Captain America and save the world and yada yada. And now he's this dick.
Mulan, we got a first look at Mulan. How gorgeous was that?
Stunning.
Yeah.
They had a real focus in this first teaser trailer around the action and the setting and the environment and all that. It was quite beautiful. But is it going to be a musical? We don't really know.
Oh, yeah, we didn't see much of that.
I've read like a really vague quote from, I think, the director. There will be music in it. And it's like, well, does that mean it's just a film score? Like, I mean, those songs are iconic.
And we didn't get the dragon either. We didn't get his little dragon sidekick.
Mushu. No Mushu.
I'm noticing in these Disney films, they're downplaying the
sidekick,
the animal sidekicks. Yeah.
I mean, Abu, Aladdin, a little bit.
He's done really well, actually. But Iago, for example.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't really have much of a voice in Aladdin. And I wonder what that'll play out in with like Flounder, and because he's certainly by Ariel's side the whole time.
We also got a new trailer for Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, which is coming later this year.
I feel like they gave way too much away in this trailer.
You think?
I've watched the fucking movie now.
Yeah, okay.
I hate when they do that. And then I regret watching the trailer.
They gave us the big twist, basically, didn't they?
Yeah. Why? Right at the end.
Yeah.
There was enough interest and intrigue in how they're going to continue the story without us. And I'm not going to say it out loud because I reckon you shouldn't watch the latest trailer, in my opinion, which kind of goes against what we're here to watch this, do that. Don't do it for this latest trailer.
Yeah.
It looks amazing, but I'm kind of like, well, fuck, like what more am I going to get out of this film when I feel like I've literally watched it from start to finish?
This next one is a movie you're really super excited about, I know, Judy, with Renee Zellweger as Judy Garland.
So we got a teaser trailer a few weeks ago and then they dropped the full-length one. I smell an Oscar for Renee Zellweger. Oh, man, this movie just looks divine. I'm just really keen for it. I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, just give it now.
Just go.
Yeah.
When's that out? It's October or something. Yeah.
We got Dora and the Lost City of Gold as well, which looks really fun.
It does.
It does look really fun.
They unpacked this trailer a bit more. This is like the second one. And it does play on comedy a lot. And they do refer, because Dora's a bit older than we know her in the cartoon. But in this new trailer, they kind of show her as a girl.
She's a bit older teenager.
It's a bit older teenager, which I think is good. Keeps the story and the IP a bit fresh and takes it to a new direction. Because I think it'd be weird if you had literally like
this little girl running around
the jungle. So there's probably a few reasons why they went down that road. I'm fine with it.
So what's coming next week? There's the big one.
It's a really small, limited movie. Don't think it's going to make much noise. Called The Lion King. I'm still nervous about it.
So we got a little snippet of Hakuna Matata. My first thought was what you were worried about, that the facial expressions and the singing these animals are so realistic, so photorealistic. It's a little bit jarring.
Yeah.
To see them singing because they have no expressions.
Yeah. Pumbaa looks weird.
Yeah.
Singing.
And the early reviews are not great.
Oh,
well,
I haven't heard any of that. Well, not great in what way, can you say?
Talking about that specifically, they're saying the visuals are gorgeous. The story is sticking to the original story very closely.
Yeah,
so that's
good.
really
It's
good.
a great story.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But again, the photorealism doesn't really work with a story like this, with musical. It's gone too far the other way to make it as entertaining.
Yeah, they went too realistic.
Yeah, it's more like watching a documentary with some funny voiceovers, I think, is what I'm hearing.
They should have had David Attenborough voice Mufasa then.
I'm still really excited to see it.
Me too, I am.
Because The Lion King is such a great story. The voice actors are going to be amazing. It's just...
And probably the singing, the soundtrack's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
Different take on the music.
Yeah.
Different voices.
It's just whether the voices are going to be enough to give you that emotion.
Well, we will be seeing The Lion King this week. And our next podcast...
We'll be reviewing it.
We'll be reviewing it. And hopefully it'll be positive. Heck, I just really want this movie to be good. I don't want to walk out of it being disappointed. We're looking very somber right now, guys.
Tim's got a sad face on.
Can we end this on a positive note?
Yes. So there's another great movies coming out next week as well. It's not all The Lion King. We've got The White Crow, which is a really beautiful movie by Ralph Fiennes. We've also got I Am Mother, Apollo 11, which is celebrating the
50th
anniversary of the moon landing.
Yeah.
And a movie called Sink or Swim, which is about a men's synchronized swimming team, which is really good.
No, that movie looks god awful.
Really?
With Rob Brydon and whatnot, who I actually love. Oh, no. There's something about that movie that it just makes, stay away. I don't know, it just looks bad.
Lots of men in the water.
No, I mean, I'm all for that. But no, I don't know. It just feels like it's going to be really not very funny. I don't know.
Okay, well, that's what's coming out next week. But this week, it's all about Booksmart. Go and see the film, support it. It's a great, funny film.
It's fantastic. You will get a lot more out of it than you think. Head to I think you will need to head to a Dendy or a Palace Cinema to see Booksmart. It's got a limited release, so definitely worth popping in to see that movie. Yep. Really looking forward to what we can uncover in movie news, trailers and reviews next week.
Yep, and we'll be back with our review of The Lion King. Ooh.
Thanks, guys, for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and leave comments and follow our Instagram handle @PopcornPodcast. See you there.
See you then.